Hello, everyone. It's Lindsay with High Altitude Astrology, and I am bringing you the chart reading for Venus ingressing Pisces. And this happened today, April 6th at 9:18 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And Venus is going to be in this sign for about a month, close to a month. And what's special is that Venus is what's considered exalted in the sign of Pisces, meaning that it operates with ease in this sign. So let's just talk about first the principles of Venus and of Pisces. Venus relates to our values. It's what we find valuable, not only on a material level, but also in in some ways like a moral sense, or just what we value, what we hold sacred, or what we hold to be our truth. Because Venus rules the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is a lot about security. So when we're talking about Venus as the principle of value, it's about what we value in order to create security in our lives. This can be self-valuing, but it can also be the things in our lives that we value and the principles that we value. But again, with this tone of like value being something that brings us personal security. Venus is also related to the principle of beauty and what we find beautiful. So it can relate to our tastes and what we like, what we don't like. Venus is also related to money. Again, going back to that Taurian principle of security, Venus helps provide security for us in our lives through the principle of money and the ability to earn it and use it in order to create security for ourselves. Venus rules relationship, so it's the principle of relating to others on a personal level, really more our personal relationships with other people, as opposed to like business relationships and that kind of thing. That's more of the territory of Libra. And what else do I want to say about Venus? Oh, Venus also relates to our artistic expression. Again, the principle of beauty coming through in some kind of tangible form that we are able to create. So this is all Venus energy. Then when you have Venus in the sign of Pisces, Pisces is this really beautiful flowing energy. It relates to the imagination, also the principle of creativity through the imagination, tapping into the subtle realms of sensing in order to allow that to come through in some kind of manifested form, like a creative expression. So you get things like music and art and poetry and creative writing. These are all kind of Piscean ways of expressing the principle of the imagination. We also get with Pisces this very elevated way of relating to others, because Pisces is symbolic of if you think of the sign, are the two fish kind of swimming in opposite directions. So it's about being able to easily kind of shift and change. And again, Pisces is a water energy, which relates to the emotions. Pisces is also the last sign of the zodiac. So it's symbolic of this very kind of elevated emotional state. So what happens with the sign of Pisces is that you get compassion, you get sympathy, you get empathy, you get the ability to transcend through spirituality. These are all Piscean themes. So when we put Venus, the sign of values, but also creative expression and even self-worth, in this Piscean element, what you get is an ability to really relate in a very elevated way with other people. You understand, but it's not from a mental place. It's more of like a compassionate, really open-hearted, like sensitive kind of way with others. You really tune into the ability to kind of just give in that way to others in order to facilitate healing, really. So this is suggesting that over the next month, there's an opportunity to really kind of bask in that vibe of allowing personal healing, allowing healing in relationships with others through this very, very compassionate energy that we are going to be able to tap into. It also means that we can really tap into our own creative expression and allow that to become a healing tool, not only for ourselves, but perhaps for others as well through our expression of it. So, I can see that with Venus in Pisces, where you might be doing creative writing or creating music, but it has this Piscean undertone that offers this energy of healing to others, not only to yourself through the process, but to others who experience it. The thing about Venus and Pisces, or just Pisces in general, is because it's so permeable, there can be confusion around boundaries, where we are overly giving, overly empathetic, to the point where we don't feel our own ego. We don't feel connected to our own sense of willpower and purpose. So that's just something to be aware of with the Piscean energy, is that we can at times become so self-sacrificial that we are not having good boundaries. And this can come in the form of money, because that, again, is something that Venus rules, where we are, giving in a way that we're not really prepared for financially, or even just, giving of ourselves in a way that is not good for ourselves. We're not discerning well enough with, who or what really needs our true help or our true healing. So that's just important to be aware of when you're dealing with Pisces energy, is that sometimes we can be so porous that we don't have proper boundaries. And there are a few things that Pisces is going to be doing with other planets this month that I want to point out. One is that on April 17th, Mercury, which will have moved into the sign of Taurus by that point, so a very kind of placid, mellower energy than Aries, which is where Mercury is right now. Mercury will be in the sign of Taurus, sextiling, creating a 60-degree angle with Venus and Pisces. And this is going to facilitate good communication, beautiful communication, perhaps in our relationships with other people, perhaps through our own creative expression. But again, just a day to kind of become aware that there's an availability to be able to share in a productive way or in a harmonious way with other people, as well as tuning into our own creative expression. And then later on in the month, after we get the big Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, which is going to happen this month on the 12th of April in the sign of Pisces, something that has not happened for 166 years, we will get Venus catching up with Jupiter and with Neptune. It's going to happen first with Neptune on the 27th of April, and then with Jupiter on the 30th of April. And so when we get Venus hooking up with Neptune and then with Jupiter, Venus being the principle of artistry, Jupiter being the principle of expansion, and Neptune being the principle of the imagination, this month is really going to be an amazing time to tap more deeply into our artistic and creative expression. That would be one way this energy could play itself out. And then also, and I want to point out here that Jupiter and Neptune are both rulers of the sign of Pisces. So that's what makes this conjunction of those two energies so special during this month. But with Venus hooking up with Neptune and Jupiter also, especially with Neptune, I mean, that's just going to be kind of a flood of creative energy coming in to our lives. And then with Jupiter, it really is going to bring in, again, just a highlighting of this ability to really see things through this Neptunian Piscean lens, really opening our hearts to others, to ourselves, in order to allow for a lot of healing to occur. That's really kind of the theme of this Venus in Pisces, Venus hooking up with Neptune, Venus hooking up with Jupiter. Of course, when you think of Venus, Jupiter, you also think of indulging, because Venus is about our tastes and what we enjoy, and Jupiter just magnifies. You know, in Pisces, which has no boundaries at times, it can be a time, especially on that last day of the month, the 30th, where, you know, we might need to be a little bit aware of overindulging and allowing ourselves to just kind of like trip out, because that is a thing that Pisces likes to do. It likes to escape. It likes to avoid. And it does that through these transcendent principles, but sometimes it's about, you know, just a quick, easy escape rather than a real kind of effortful, spiritual practice way of transcending the ego. But in general, again, a lot of healing this month, a lot of tuning into our artistic creativity, and really just kind of basking in this beautiful energy of Pisces, and you know, really connecting with our creative energy through that process. And what I'd like to do as I close this video is pick a card from the Power Deck, the Cards of Wisdom, for by Lynn V. Andrews. And I'd like to pick a card that will assist us in navigating the waters of Venus and Pisces. And, you know, again, Pisces too is about letting go. You know, Pisces is a mutable energy, which means it moves, it mutates. So there could be, you know, a great healing happening for us during this tour of Venus and Pisces, especially around relationships, because that's Venus. But it could involve a true kind of letting go and having a very expansive understanding of the transcendental principle of the need to actually release and let go as we move forward in life. You know, it's not always an easy thing to do, letting go, but there's so much Pisces right now in the chart and into this month that's a theme also that's going to be becoming highlighted. All right, so a card for this Venus in Pisces energy that we can help navigate through at this time. Truth. That's the name of the card, Truth. Those look like, Stonehenge type stones. And there's a world in the midst of them. Are you living your truth? Your being is like a spirit lodge. Within this sacred space is your realization and the divine light of your creation. Live in your spirit lodge, surrounded by peace and joy. Outside your lodge is the great wilderness where the rest of the world lives. That wilderness can become a battleground stained with the blood of ignorance and earthly pain. To have lasting power in the world, you must earn the trust of those around you. Most people live without a sacred place within, without a spirit lodge, and they do not know how to enter the spirit lodges of others. Live within your sacred truth. That's really beautiful because I think, again, going back to this Venus and Pisces, Venus being our values, our self-worth, and Pisces, being this energy of healing, that it is important this month to make sure that we are operating, from our own spirit lodge, from within our own spirit lodge, in that very kind of safe, supportive space within ourselves, where we can where we can really sense our own self. And from there, if we have that, strong connection, intuitive connection to ourselves, then we're able to go out into the world, and operate and function with others. But we have to have that very sacred, clear space within ourselves that allows us to, know who we are intuitively, have that divine connection, that spirit connection moving through us. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I do offer readings. You can find that information in the description box below this video. And I wish you a very fruitful transit of Venus through Pisces this month. Take care.